Beats walking. This ain't good.
Sit down!
Together! Give it all you got! This isn't looking good. Hold on. Show us what you're in there!
Don't let it get you down!
Together! Huh? I've always wanted my own monster. Bye-bye now.
Let us take this.
And place the trap. I put down a trap. Easy peasy.
How's it going, guys? It's Damo here, and I hope you guys enjoyed that hunt that you saw just then. It was a really nice Hazard Zenogre taken down in 1 minute and 37 seconds. Now, I'm here today because I want to show people how they can hunt Hazard Zenogre super quickly and get themselves a whole heap of MP Accelerants. And to start off, we're going to be having a quick look at this build here. Now, you can essentially divide that run into two types of players. You've got your main support role, and then you've got your 3 DPS players. Now in that one, I was one of the DPS players, and I was using a build quite similar to what we see here. Now, the way this build here is going to function is you're going to use Berserk to get yourself into Heroics range to allow your spread heavy bowgun to do heaps and heaps of damage to Zenogre's head. As you see in the video earlier, over 100 damage per tick when we hit Zenogre's head. It's incredible DPS, and it allows us to kill Zenogre consistently and super quickly. Now, I will just stress right here that Powder Mantle is level 3 and Mail of Hellfire is level 1. On typical builds, you're actually going to see this be reversed, but in this specific case for these hunts, you're going to like having Powder Mantle 3. If you paid attention earlier, you'll see that those Powder Mantle pops, which there were 2 of in that hunt, they did over 1,000 damage each. It's absolutely super important to have Powder Mantle level 3. If we only had Powder Mantle level 1 and we had Mail of Hellfire level 3, we would be doing 2 more damage per tick, which leads to about 800 more damage over the entire hunt. However, that's not as good as getting a second Powder Mantle pop for over 1,000 damage. So those are just the general details around this build. This is the DPS build that 3 people in the hunt are going to be using. So that's going to be everyone except for the main support role. Now, the dango that you're going to want to eat if you are going for one of these 3 roles is going to be Feat Marksman level 4, Temper level 3, and Booster level 1. Now, Booster level 1 is a nice 100% dango, but for the other 2, they're not 100%. That doesn't mean that you need to reset with the runs. If you do fail to get those, that's okay. We're not going for the one perfect speed run here. We're trying to kill Zenogre as many times, as quickly and consistently as possible. And if you actually do, I believe it's like a normalization for the math. If you do that, you'll find that the average amount of damage is higher by going for this gambling sort of set of dangos. Now, the only switch skill that's actually going to matter here is Player 2. So that's the role that I was in the hunt just then. Player 2 needs to make sure that they have Rising Moon equipped, and that's just so we can get that Wyvern Ride early on. Now, all of your other switch skills won't actually matter, but it can be nice to have Silkbind Glide just in case something goes wrong. But in the ideal hunt, you will literally never use any of your other switch skills. I will just make a note as well that the Tetranodon gun is the one that you want to use. Don't use Garangolm, it's a trap. And make sure that Tetranodon gun does have a power barrel equipped so you can get a massive raw boost. I think it's around 40 or 50 raw you get just by equipping the power barrel, so you'll really want to do that. And also, all three of these players who are in the DPS roles, they want to have auto Wyvern Ride turned off, and then the support player wants to have it turned on. Now, I don't want to spend too much time on this, but this is the kind of build that you'd require if you're going to be the support role or the main lead role. I'd recommend this kind of build for anyone who's more experienced with it. If you're someone who's inexperienced and you're trying heavy bowgun for the first time, you'd want to go and be one of the DPS roles. That's the more critical role. This is the more critical role, and there's not as much room for error in this one as there are in the other ones. You can see that the build is a little bit harder to get, but since I'm expecting this to be used by more experienced heavy bowgun players, then you won't have to be starting from scratch because you probably have a few of these armor pieces with some augments already. So you guys have got a bit of a head start on the build. But for anyone who's trying this out for the first time and is trying to get MP Accelerants, then you'll want to go and be one of the DPS roles. Right after this segment of the video, I'm going to have some examples of the roles, but I'm not going to have an example of the support role. And that's just because in that particular hunt, I was obviously player 2 doing one of the DPS roles, and you can see the DPS roles in action quite clearly there. But the role of the support player is a lot more complex, and I can't properly demonstrate it without having an entire team behind me and actually doing the run, because, you know, we're not going to get the Wyvern Ride really quickly and then show the support player doing the Wyvern Ride unless I've got a proper team with me. But what I will do quickly is I'll just go over everything that the support role has to do. I'll just say it out now. So anyone who is watching this and would actually like to get involved with being the support role, you know exactly what you've got to do. So the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to load up the hunt, and not only are you the one who posts the quest, but you're also going to be eating for a slightly different Dango. So you're going to have Dango Weakener level 4, you're going to have Dango Temper level 3, and then you're going to have Feet Marksman level 1. Now, Feet Marksman level 1 is a 100% guaranteed Dango, and that's why you don't see Shock Absorber on this build here. You are going to see a different gun being used. This is Velkhana's gun, and that's because it can fire sticky 3s and also exhaust 2s with some very respectable recoil levels, allowing you to get a KO early on Zinogre. The other thing as well that you'll see with this build is it's got Mail of Hellfire 3 and Powder Mantle 1. I know earlier I was talking about how great Powder Mantle is in this situation. However, if you're the player who's got to place all the traps, you're constantly sheathing, you're shooting a lot less, you're not going to get those extra Powder Mantle pops like the DPS players are going to get. Alright, so let's go into it. So you've eaten the correct Dango, and we're jumping into the Zinogre hunt. As the support player, the first thing you want to do, swap scrolls to blue, and that's going to get heroics, Berserk draining your health into heroics range slowly. You're going to wire bug up to the Great Wire Bug and then take it to the left, and then work your way around the cliff to go and get the Thunder Beetle. Once you've gotten the Thunder Beetle, then you'll teleport to wherever you need to go. So Zinogre has 3 different spawns, and 2 of them are going to use the Buddy Recon point on the west side of the Flooded Forest, and then the most common spawn that happens 60% of the time is going to happen near the subcamp. So you just go to either one of those. Once you have teleported to wherever you need to go, I will say that for one of the spawns, it's actually quite close to the Thunder Beetle, so you don't need to teleport at all. But the other 2 spawns, you would have to teleport. Once you have gotten to wherever you need to go, then you have your Might Seed. And make sure that you have a shout out for when you have the Might Seed, because player 2 is going to use that shout out. If you look back at the very start of the video when I placed the trap, you'll see that Hirata has a little shout out that says download. And that's Hirata having the Might Seed, and then me placing the trap as soon as I see that. You want to make sure you get that timing correct, and that really helps you as the support player. So, now you've had your Might Seed, you're currently traveling to Zinogre as quick as you can, and as soon as you have that Might Seed, that person who's player 2 is going to know, okay, place the trap now. Now, you'll get to Zenoga, and the first thing you'll do is you will get your stickies. This is before you usually swap back from blue scroll to red scroll. Your health will still be draining because your health drains slower than everyone else's because you don't go into a small barrel bomb. So your health is draining. You go for some stickies. You only want to bring 4 stickies with you. You shoot all 4 of them. And then as those are exploding on Zenoga's head, you fire your exhaust 2s also at Zenoga's head as quickly as you can. That will get the KO while it's in that first pitfall trap. And then after that, you'll swap back to blue scroll. Usually, not black to blue, black to red scroll. Usually the timing's around there. It can vary depending on how quickly you get to Zenoga. But it's usually right as you get the KO. Then you'll swap back to red scroll, be in heroics range, and you just fire spread 3s at it. You'll keep firing spread 3s through the circle that player 2 creates. And then you'll eventually get that wyvern ride. You will take the wyvern ride, bash it into the wall, just one bash, and then because you had auto ride on, like, you'll jump on straight away. But that animation while you're getting on, everyone else is going to keep shooting, keep doing more DPS. You bash it into that wall once, it goes down, and you'll want to wire bug down to the ground using the on switch. The control is you'll have ZL and then plus ZR, because there's 3 ways to wire bug: ZL plus X, ZL plus A, and ZL plus ZR. So use ZR to aim it downwards and then instantly place another pitfall trap. Then you'll come round to the front and you'll fire a few shots, usually about 5 shots at Zenoga, and then you'll sheath your weapon. You'll throw the Thunder Beetle at Zenoga, and then you'll bring your weapon back out and you'll keep on hitting him with more spread shots to the head. Then I think you shoot around 11 or 12. I normally go with the amount I need to do, like a clip and a half or something like that. It changes depending on the hunt, but usually about 11 or 12 shots to the head. Then you'll sheath again, and then you'll place a pitfall trap, and then when he's now in that pitfall trap, you'll do some tranks. You can use trank bombs when your weapon's already sheathed, or you can just fire some trank ammo at it. Either one works. And then after that, usually it can just get captured. If you've got a good lobby, you've got 3 solid DPS players, you've been doing your job well, then Zenoga will get trapped there and then. However, if the DPS isn't quite there and Zenoga gets out of that trap, it's going to go out of its enraged state, so you will be able to use a shock trap. Even though the shock trap won't last as long, Zenoga kind of gets stunned by that shock trap instantly, so go for that one first. Then right after that shock trap, go for the pitfall trap. Now, often it'll probably just get caught in that shock trap, but again, in case you're in a lobby with a little bit less DPS, go for then a pitfall trap after that, and that'll work really well. So that is the entire role of the supporting player. Alright, so a couple things, guys, before I get into demonstrating the different roles that I haven't mentioned previously, is that you want to make sure you have Wyvern Exploit as the Rampage decoration, and then you want to make sure you've got all attack augments. That's one thing. The next thing is your dog needs to be an elemental chain dog, of course using the ice element. Those are going to be the buddy skills there, noting that you have attack up L and crit up L over counter and artful dodger. I normally run counter and artful dodger, but if the monster's not going to move, such as my Valstrax speed run or these Zenoga runs, then you want to have attack up L and crit up L, and it's important to make sure that your tactic is at basic. Lastly, just a few things on items. So make sure that you have a radial menu set up and that's completely customizable however you want that to be set up. But in terms of the items that you're going to need to bring, these are all the items that you need between the 3 different roles for players 2, 3, or 4. In short, player 2 is going to be the one who does the trap and the circle. Player 3 is going to take care of the little monsters, and player 4 is going to do the bomb and powder. Bomb and powder is the easiest of all the roles. It's the simplest one to do, the quickest one. And if you were to only have 3 players, then the person who's going to do the trap and the circle would also do the bomb and powder early on. So I am actually going to show those 2 roles done together. because it wouldn't make sense to not have the... Like, if I was to try and show you guys the trap and circle, I wouldn't have the berserk swap timing be accurate if I didn't get myself bombed anyway. So I'm going to do the player 4 role in both when I show off players 2 and when I show off player 3. So I'm always going to do player 4's role, and you guys are going to see that very shortly. Alright, so we're going to get into the demonstration now. So we're going to be showing off roles 4 and roles 2 at the same time here. So the first thing we want to do is place that bomb, and then we're going to do that. Wire fall, just to animation cancel, and then we have that demon powder. Next up, we're going to be teleporting to the subcamp. And then once we get there, we're going to have that might seed. Alright, so we're here, we find our might seed, we have it. And then let's get nice and close to Xeno. Now here you would be awaiting your support player to send you a little message letting you know, hey, you can place the trap. And so I mentioned that, how we do that earlier. Now you want to make sure you come pretty far back, and then you place that circle, scroll swap, let Xeno turn around, and look at that, immediately in the trap. Circle looks to be a little close. It's definitely a little bit too close. So we want to come a bit further back, make a new circle, and do that. Now, of course, it's not going to get KO'd or anything, so we've got to end this one here. But that shows how you just place the trap and the circle. And I guess it also shows how if Xenoga moves, you guys can cart very, very quickly. Alright. Next up, we're going to go and we're going to show what happens. I'm obviously going to do player 4's part again, which is just the bomb and powder. And then I'm also going to show what player 3 does. Alright, let's get into having a look at what player 3 does. So, of course, I will be doing player 2's role as well. So, that one, nice and simple. And then, of course, having that demon powder. And so that's stuff that player 4 does, right? Player 4 is bomb and powder. Now we'll have a look at what player 3 does, and that is take care of those little monsters. You probably noticed last time, the crabs were definitely hanging around. And this is what we want to use our dung bombs for. So, him, and then this guy's going to be running at you. You shoot it with exhaust to stun it. And then you go for a few of these to kill it. And then by the time you turn around, Xenoga's going to be in the trap. You just change your scrolls, and then you just start shooting. And so that's all for rolls 3, and then I've obviously shown as well rolls 4 and 2. So, yeah, players 2, 3, and 4, it's relatively straightforward what you have to do to start the hunts. Now, I hope everyone enjoyed this. I will be looking for players to do a PC version of this run, and hopefully I can get that on the channel within the next month or two. Alright guys, so that concludes with the Hazard Xeno guide for the channel. I hope you enjoyed, I hope you learnt something, and I do really hope that more people try doing these kind of runs to farm these MP Accelerants really quickly, and it's just really beautiful to have really nice charms. It helps you make strong builds really effectively. It's more fun things that you can do in Monster Hunter Rise, and I absolutely love it. The hardest part, of course, is going to be getting a group of 4 people to play Heroic's Heavy Bowgun. Now, if you are struggling to do that, I do recommend joining the Demon Tribe server. I'll put a link to our server, like a server invite, in the description, and you can come and join. If that, for some reason, breaks or it doesn't work, feel free to hit me up on Discord, hashtag Damo1324. I think something like that. I should probably go and double check that quickly for you, just so that you can send me a DM, and then when you DM me, I'll get back to you. So 3124. Damo, D-A-M-O, 3124. Send me a DM and I'll get you guys invited into the Demon Tribe server if the link in the description doesn't work properly. And of course, we can get in there and we can do some farming. If you're a PC player, I would absolutely love to have you join, and then we can make a video, of course, with better quality, because the first one was actually clips taken from my Switch, that 137 video. I'd love to make a video on PC where I am going to do the lead support role, so I can give a proper demonstration of how that's going to work. Anyway, hope you guys enjoy the video. Thank you for watching.